oh, Dr. Joe is evil. And I was like, I'm going to tell you about some of the lessons that I learned during an advanced week-long Joe Dispenza retreat in America. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. They were painful to learn as well, or like they are things that I already knew, but it was like this retreat made me face them in a different way, and the way that I was made to face them was painful. Hi, it's me again, Simone. Today is actually, oh, I was gonna wear a different t-shirt. I was gonna wear my Joe Dispenza t-shirt. Well, it's too hot for that. It's too hot for that. Today is gonna be a little bit different because I am gonna... You mother... I'm going to tell you about some of the lessons that I learned during an advanced week-long Joe Dispenza retreat in America. Usually my content is about my art, but actually my art is so interlinked with my personal development journey and like all these things that I'm learning. Most of the time my paintings are about that. And I'm sure that this experience is going to influence future paintings, but I do understand that some people don't know about Joe Dispenza's work and might not be interested in it. Okay, you know what? I was trying to be aesthetic, but anyway, we live in a world of internet, so I really encourage you to go and do your own research about his work. I've been doing his work consistently since the beginning of this year, but I actually have known about him for a couple of years at least. I don't know why, but I just want to get right into like the lessons that I learned from this retreat. Maybe it's because after the retreat and then coming back to the real world, coming back to 3D, it's very, very, very jarring. Like, it has not been easy, especially since this retreat was in Denver in the USA and I flew all the way from Vietnam to get there. And there are just like a lot of changes in my life right now. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah, so maybe the reason why I want to go straight to the lessons that I've learned is because it might be comforting to me to like be like, look at all these lessons I learned. Everything's gonna be okay. Because yeah, right now it's overwhelming. It's weird. It's not a feeling I've ever felt before. Like in the future, I may do another video where I talk more about like what Joe's work is and like how I got into it and how it's helped me in my life, because already it has helped me so much. And maybe even talk about the one very, very mystical experience that I had at home. I definitely had some mystical experiences at the retreat as well, but they weren't as intense as this specific one. Yeah, so I might do a video about that in the future, but today I just feel really excited to just like talk about all these lessons that I learned, because there are many. There are so many. And a lot of them were painful to learn as well, or like they are things that I already knew, but it was like this retreat made me face them in a different way, and the way that I was made to face them was painful. But anyway, I love lessons. Like, there's always, always, always a lesson in every situation, and it doesn't always feel like it at the time, but it's always for your greater good. It's always for your greater good. Like, the universe is just your little cheerleader, like, yeah, we just want you to be the best that you can be. And that's why it sends you these hard lessons, because it's like, time to level up, you know? It loves you so much. let's just get into it. Let's get into it. I've got so many lessons to share. Number one, this is a big one. This is a big one. And if you're planning to go to a retreat, I really advise you to absorb this one, because I really wish that I had absorbed this a lot more before the retreat, before I went, because it caused me a lot of pain that maybe if I'd been more ready for this, it wouldn't have triggered me so much. But anyway, number one is your feelings and experiences are valid even if they manifest in this 3D world differently to others. This could be taken out of this context and just be like a life lesson, but particularly in this retreat, people's experiences can be really different. Not only are some people like deeper into the work so they can like connect to it deeper or faster, so maybe so people's experiences manifest in different ways as well. Like for some people it might be hearing voices, for other people it might be feeling energy or feel like your sense of touch, and for other people it might be visuals. And I think that I'm in the visual category because very often I was receiving messages through visuals. I think that the universe knows what way you are going to understand the messages, which way is you're going to understand the most. So for me, it makes sense that I get visuals because I'm an artist. During the retreat, you know, sometimes after we would talk about our experiences, and for some people their experiences were very like outwardly big, like as a movement or like making crazy sounds and stuff. And I, you know, when you're having visuals, your eyes are closed and you're just like seeing things. And especially at the beginning, I was just still quiet and just seeing things. And I was comparing myself with others and invalidating the way that I was receiving messages, because I was like, why am I not outwardly having these big experiences? Like maybe I'm not doing it right, like maybe I'm not good enough. Just comparing myself and just using it as another way to feel not good enough or feel like I'm not doing this right. And I just think that is so wrong. And finally I feel like by the end of the retreat, I finally like accepted that, you know what, like it manifests in different ways for different people. Maybe I receive things visually and this person receives things like through movement, like energy moving in their body, and maybe this other person like hears things, and each of them is so valid. There's no like one better than the other. I think that it's just we have one way that we understand more. It took me a long time to get that one, and I don't think that I fully got it, and that I'm gonna go out into my life and never compare my experiences or my feelings with others, because this is a deep habit. But the universe is just gonna keep on teaching me that lesson until I finally feel it and really like know it in my body. But this was a good way again for me to see that I was still invalidating my experiences and comparing them to others and putting others on a pedestal. Number 2 is your ego will fight to the death to keep control. And I'm gonna explain this more, but your ego is like really attached to your identity as a human being and your emotions and your experiences. And this work, Joe Dispenza's work, is kind of the opposite of the ego. So the ego is about like control and like identity and separateness, and Joe's work is about letting go and realizing like that we are all one, and just like remembering what we actually are. So obviously when you're connecting to Joe's work, your ego is gonna be like, oh, no you don't. We're not gonna give up control. What happened to me we were practicing the breath work for the first meditation that we were gonna do, which is blessing of the energy centers. And it was just a practice. And I've done the breath work at home many times. And the one time that I had a mystical experience, I think it was because I really hit it with the breath work. So I was like, cool, yeah, let's just do a practice. I know what I'm doing. It's all gonna be cool. I'm relaxed, I'm chill. But preface, I definitely am still trying to overcome this thing of like not wanting to express emotions in front of other people, not wanting to do weird things in front of other people. I generally feel more comfortable, being by myself, because then it's only me that's gonna judge me, not somebody else. Yeah, so I swear this is related to the story. When we started doing the breath work, I guess I was really like, yeah, let's go, I'm so excited. So I really went for it. As I started to like pull my energy up, I started to feel like I was gonna puke everywhere, like intensely, and I don't often feel like I'm gonna puke everywhere. That's a really foreign feeling for me. Like I just don't get sick that often. So that was really uncomfortable, and obviously that made me think like,
oh my god, I'm gonna be the first person to puke everywhere at Joe Dispenza retreat. Why do I feel like I'm gonna puke? Like, is this normal? What's wrong with me? Am I doing it wrong? Like, what's going on?
And I have bad posture, so I felt physically uncomfortable, like trying to sit up straight as well. And just like, I just felt so physically uncomfortable in every single way. And that spiraled into emotional uncomfortableness. But I continued to do it. So eventually the ego got even more desperate, and it was like, let's go to town with this. So again, preface, like I think that Joe Dispenza has like the biggest heart ever, and he is doing this work to help humanity, and he is just like channeling from divine, and his work has helped me so much. Like I don't have anything bad to say about him. But my ego started to be like, maybe this is a cult, and maybe Joe Dispenza is manipulating you all. Obviously, during these thoughts, I'm feeling physically uncomfortable. I'm feeling like emotional and scared, and like, what the f is happening? So I really started to believe it. I was like, oh my god, what am I doing here? I'm in a cult. How did this happen? And I can laugh about it afterwards because it's so ridiculous, but it just shows the lengths that the ego will go to keep you the same, to keep you from letting go and advancing. And actually, like, the puking thing kind of makes sense, that, like, you know, if you have all this blocked, stored energy from the past in your bottom 3 centers, and you are like pulling them up here where they've never been before, it's like a snow globe that you shake, and all this energy is like moving around after being stuck for so long. Like, of course, nausea might be a physical symptom of that. And I was obviously already scared about what I was gonna feel, or yeah, the ego took advantage of that, and it was like, yeah, he's evil. Dr. Joe is evil. And I was like, sorry, Dr. Joe. Lesson number 3. This one is kind of obvious, but it just keeps coming back into my life because I know it logically, but I still don't feel it in my body. Shaming yourself into feeling love is a crazy oxymoron. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. And I keep doing it, like being like, why is my heart not open? Yeah, just like this critical voice in my head, like, open your heart. Of course my heart is not gonna open when I'm shouting at myself to open my heart. Yeah, so already knew this one, but the universe is just bringing it back until I finally get it. Lesson number 4 kind of links to lesson number 3, is that you cannot force yourself to feel love, or it's not forcing. It's like this melting. Like if you have resistance to feeling love, you can't just like meet that resistance with more of the similar energy. It has to be like a melting or like a disintegrating feeling rather than feel love. It just doesn't make sense. And number five is that even though many of us, I think everybody wants to be completely seen and heard, and a lot of the time in life we are not completely seen and heard, that obviously at this event there are people who are very, very, very present and know how to make other people feel seen and heard. And there was one volunteer in particular that made me feel so seen and heard that I felt uncomfortable because it was so foreign to me. And that's not a bad thing. It's just a little thing to like take note of. Oh, like this is so foreign to me that it feels uncomfortable. It's like, interesting. But you still need to melt into it. Like, this is uncomfortable, but this is what I crave at the same time. Number 6 is that I am literally electric, and I may have, with the electricity in my body, turned on a radio in my room 2 times, but I'm not sure. The radio thing is still a question mark, but something that I cannot deny because it happened over and over and over again is, you know, when you get static electricity and then you touch someone else and they get a little zip. Well, that happened to me multiple times, where I would zap other people. I have lots of witnesses and it was like you could hear the zap sound, but I definitely felt it. The other person definitely felt it. Happened a few times, and then I was like, ha ha ha, like telling my friend like, I'm electric and I keep electrocuting people. And she was like, here's a pine cone. And I took the pine cone and we were like, ah, because I zapped her as well. That was one day. The next day I was zapping people. The day after the retreat, there were multiple days where people would just touch me and I would zap them. And it was crazy because that's never happened to me before. It kind of makes sense. Dr. Joe talks about how we're conducting electricity when we are meditating. Maybe I'm not using the right terminology, but just go do your research. Just go do your research. Yeah, I was electric and that was crazy. Lesson number 7 is kind of just personal to me. I think that I receive and understand messages the majority of the time through visuals. This kind of connects to a point that I had before, that I think there are different ways to receive messages, and perhaps, or maybe it depends on the message, like what way you're gonna receive it. I also had some messages where it was like voices in my ears, very, very real, not like I'm going crazy. And I also had some energy movements, sometimes feeling like something was touching you. So I have experienced all kinds, but it seems like mostly I receive through visuals. The truth, the breaking news is that I actually don't need 8 hours of sleep to feel energized. I probably don't need coffee. To be honest, when I was drinking coffee at the event, it was more like a habit, and sometimes it just made me anxious and it didn't even give me energy. So during this event, you're getting up at like 6 a.m. No, you need to be there at 6 a.m. most mornings. So I was getting up at like 4:30, earlier than 4:30 most mornings. And there was one morning where we had to be there at 4 a.m. So that morning I got up at like 2:30. So most nights I was getting like maximum 6 hours, but probably more like 5 hours or 4 hours a night. We were meditating all day, so we were focusing on being energy rather than this meat suit body all day. And then, you know, you've got the collective energy. Everybody's like, woohoo, happy in their best self. So that like brings energy up as well. But oh my God, I felt so energized. I didn't have my 8 hours of sleep. Sometimes I didn't have my coffee for a few hours. And yeah, that was a revelation for me. Lesson number 9 is that you do not have to do drugs to feel like you are on ecstasy. As the retreat went on, this feeling of love like just amplified each day, and like it would get to the point where you would just like look at somebody and just feel so much love that you just want to start a conversation with them, and literally like hugging people that you've just met, and it didn't feel awkward at all. And particularly the day after the end of the retreat, I was with a group of people and we went to this pub bar place to get food, and we were just sitting at the table like feeling so much love, and sometimes sitting in silence, and it wasn't awkward. We were just like so connected that it really felt like ecstasy, that it was natural. Like our bodies were producing that and we did not take anything. We were asking each other like deep questions and so interested in each other, and like we're holding hands and we're doing sausage rolls and we're crying and we're happy, and it was just like, wow, like we really don't need anything outside of us at all to make us feel love, to make us feel happy, to make us feel connected. Isn't that so beautiful? 2 of the biggest times that I heard the messages, I think they were from my higher self. And one of them was like I was feeling shame about stuff. I was feeling shame about feeling shame. And just like the critical voice in my head was so present during one of these meditations. And it was so like bringing me down. Then I started to feel unconditional love, and this voice said, you're human, you are human. And when it said that, it was very much like, even if you feel shame about feeling shame, we love you anyway, we don't care, like you're amazing, we get it, it's a struggle to be a human being, like remember that. So now we've got a new camera, but this camera, a new used camera, but this camera does not have an internal microphone port thing, so we have to use my phone until I figure out another way. Lesson number 11. I got this lesson during the same meditation as lesson 10. You are human. And this time it was the same voice, and it said, it was like right in my ear here, and it was like, you are doing so well. And the voice that said it in my ear like was so proud, like so proud. And I feel like this sentence, like you are doing so well and like I'm so proud of you, is like something that I've craved to hear from certain people but haven't heard it. So I don't know if this was like my higher self coming back from the future to say like, you know, I've seen the future and you're doing so well, you're going the right way. Like the voice had so much pride in it and was like so happy for me and about me that I just like sobbed crying. And even if this was just like my subconscious saying this to me and it wasn't like some outside entity saying this to me, I still think it's a really beautiful message that I repeatedly need to like kind of tell myself, because the harsh critic that I'm still trying to turn the volume down on, always focuses on the things that I do wrong or how I can be better. And something that I've started to like practice in my life is imagining like me 10 years ago, 5 years ago, meeting me now, and just being like so blown away with all the things that I'm achieving. Because me even like 1 year ago, I'm such a different person, and there are so many things that I've done that I would have never thought that I could do. So yeah, this was just a really beautiful message, and I hope that this can be a reminder to you to do that, to like think about you like 10 years ago, or think about you as a child, like meeting yourself now and you telling your child self or you from 5 or 10 years ago, like all of these things that you've now done or achieved, or like the ways that you've changed, and your past self being like, whoa, I can't believe it. Feeling like, wow, you're doing so well. Like, I'm so proud of you. I can't believe this is where you are. Yeah, that was another really beautiful message and lesson that I keep relearning from the retreat. Lesson number 12 is such a beautiful one. I was actually calling my friend last night and I started to cry just thinking about this. Number 12 is that at a retreat like this, you can meet your soul family and feel closer to these people than people you've known for years and years in your life. Just like the nature of the retreat and meditating with these people like from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. and going really deep. And yeah, there are specifically 2 people that I met at this retreat that I'm thinking of, that I'm still in really close contact with, and we're like voice noting each other even though we're on totally different time zones. I just feel so blessed to have met these people and that they are still a part of my life, because they are like literally angels. And we got so close, especially me and one particular person. Don't know if I should name drop Keegan and Mark. Let's do a Vietnamese heart. These people, they are just the most beautiful, angelic human beings ever, and we spent 1 week together, and we're now like so invested in each other's lives and just like wishing the best for each other. And oh my god, it's so beautiful, and I've always wanted to have friendships like this. So yeah, I just feel like so blessed to have met these people, and just amazed that it's possible after 1 week to like make deep connections like this. Thank you so much, Dr. Joe, for making this happen. Aside from like all the amazing things like from the retreat, the things that happen in meditations and those like aha moments when you are listening to the lectures and stuff, like aside from all of the content and what you actually do, the people that you meet, it's just incredible. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful, and I've cried so many times because a lot of the people that I met are in the western side of the world, like America and stuff, and I'm all the way in Vietnam. And to meet people and get like so close to them like that, and then to like be thrown to the other side of the world like right after, when you're just like, oh my god, you guys are like my besties, like, it's really heartbreaking. So thank god we live in a time where we've got the internet and voice notes and stuff so that we can like keep some kind of connection. And obviously I would love to go back to America and visit these people, or vice versa, that they'll come to me. I will say that like not everybody that you will meet at the retreat are like this, but yeah, you have a really high chance of meeting just like beautiful souls. And I just feel so grateful that I got to meet them. Oh my god. I'm trying to manifest going to another retreat in the future. It's already there. Oh, what happened there? It's already there in the quantum. And I think I'm gonna wrap this up with my lessons. I actually wrote down my lessons, and I think I had about like 50. But this video is already quite long, so I think we'll stop at 12 for today, and this can be like part 1, and maybe we can do part 2 or part 3 if people enjoy this video. If you found this video because you are thinking about going to a Joe Dispenza advanced week-long, let this be your sign that you have to go. Like, you have to go. It was the best week of my entire life. So yeah, I highly recommend. If you already are going and you're just like, I did this too, like looking on the internet to see like what you should expect or getting yourself hyped up for the experience, then oh my god, I'm so excited and jealous. I'm so excited for you. Oh my god, it's gonna be the best experience ever. Even if it like brings up painful things like it did with me a little bit, it's still the best experience ever. So I'm so excited for you. And if you want to write about your experience in the comments, please do. I'd love to share and like talk about it. I really keep the memory alive. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I want to make a video in the future about like some crazy things that I've manifested because of doing Dr. Joe's meditations. If you are into that, then subscribe to my channel, because as well as art things, I will also probably talk about that. Yes, subscribe so that you don't miss future videos. Like this video if you liked it. Leave a comment, like let me know what you think about my lessons or anything. Yeah, let me know if you're going to an advanced retreat. Let me know if you're thinking about it, and I'm just gonna tell you, do it. Thoughts, put them in the comments. Let's have a conversation. Sending you lots and lots of love. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.